Good morning, good morning, good morning, and a merry stupid clock. Oh gosh, I'm getting tea on me. To one and all, merry stupid o'clock, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I am your host, Tiffany Daniels. And folks, as every morning at stupid o'clock, we're going back to that horrid world known as the JRC. Before we get started this morning from where we left off yesterday, just a few quick disclaimers. First off, folks, you will find the link in the description box of what we are going over, as other bleh, I can't talk, as well as other pertinent links to the Stop the Shocks campaign. Most importantly, the templates, folks. Put your name in there. Click on your senator. Help end harmful and unnecessary restraint, not only in the JRC, but across the U.S. Also important, the Change.org Shut the Judge Rotenberg Center Down petition. Folks, I've said it once, I've said it a million times. The only way we are actually going to get these kids safe is to close this place down. So please sign the petition, share it on your social media. Now, as always, folks, when we are talking about the JRC, you're going to hear vivid descriptions of, as well as sometimes see video surveillance footage clips of people with disabilities being tortured and abused. If you have young children present, please use your headphones. And it is stupid o'clock, folks. As you can see, I'm kind of barely coherent here. So, folks, my apologies in advance, and good vibes, everyone. I'm kind of on the chopping block. I have not had the best numbers at work in the world. I've been dead last in sales for a good long minute. Good vibes would be appreciated, please and thank you. All right, moving on past my drama. We are going back to that document of the Judge Bernstein quote-unquote decision. Yes, the retired judge being paid by the JRC after the 2007 incident for his investigation. So, we are moving on to Department of Elementary and Secondary Education regulations. So, folks, it's probably going to be just as much as a garbage fire as everything we've gone through so far with this judgment, but I digress. Okay. Excuse me. Child care worker to student ratio. Yes, because that's the problem. There's not enough staff. Department may approve a student to child care ratio not lower than 4 to 1, nor greater than 6 to 1 during non-school day waking hours, not lower than 6 to 1, nor greater than 8 to 1 during sleeping hours, or on an alternative ratio justified by special education school. Yeah, that's what they need. More staff to traumatize them. More people wearing those remote controllers with pictures of their face on them. We gotta pinpoint more behaviors. Jeez. Moving on, child care worker staff development and training. Oh God. JRC must develop and implement a detailed written plan for staff development and in-service training of all child care workers. This training plan must be an ongoing and provide for a minimum of 2 hours of formal training per month and must include procedures for orienting new child care workers to the role and the purpose of the school. You mean that purpose to torture kids with disabilities? That purpose? To use behavioral techniques on people with neurological disabilities? The cookie cutter approach that treats all people with wildly different diagnoses the same? That mission? Information and discussion on nature and needs of the students enrolled. Like they give a damn about needs. If they gave a damn about needs, they'd feed them. Just saying. The role of child care worker in growth and development of students. By the way, folks, torture doesn't help with the growth of anything. If anything, it impedes growth. Emergency procedures, basic first aid, and how to deal with disruptive and violent behavior and nonviolent restraint. I hate to tell you this, but no restraint is not violent. Even when it is necessary, it still requires putting your hands on a student. Perhaps we should be focusing on finding out what the issue is instead of traumatizing the kids with more workers coming after them. Just a thought. Supervision of child care workers. Yes, but we need more monitors to pinpoint more behaviors that they're going to be shocked for. Fabulous idea, Judge. JRC must provide ongoing and regular supervision of all child care workers by professional staff that has supervisory and administrative responsibility, which includes regularly scheduled conferences between child care workers and supervisors, conferences between teachers and child care workers, and review and discussion of ongoing case logs. So finally, we're getting into the August 2007 incident. But out of all those suggestions that we've gone over so far, do you see anything at all that in those regulations that directly in any way actually will work in regards to the 2007 incident? Because I don't. It literally addresses absolutely nothing about what happened back on August 26, 2007 at all. At all. Dear God, that was a bunch of nonsensical shit to the wind, stupid crap that does nothing to address what happened in 2002 or 2007. But I digress. Let's move forward. The catalyst for this report was an incident that took place in early morning hours of August 26, 2007, in a JRC residence located in Stoughton, Massachusetts. An individual, later identified as a former JRC student, called into the residence and pretended to be a member of the Quality Control Department. Jesus Christ, I just got creeps even reading that. At the direction of the caller, members of the JRC staff administered 77 GED applications to one student and 30 applications to a second student. Here's my thing though. Why were these orders not questioned? Why did the staff just automatically go to it? What is the kind of culture they cultivate at the JRC that staff members won't even question such orders as that? I'm just saying. When are we going to address that, Judge? All right, never. Staff woke a third student and prepared to give him GED applications until they realized that the caller was not from DVR. How long did it take? Staff. Serious mistakes by members of the JRC staff, as well as some unclear policies and procedures of the JRC, led to a failure of the JRC program for student safety with regards to these two residents. Oh, for the love of God. Mistakes? Mistakes, Judge? Really? Oh, it's a mistake. It happens. Two kids are traumatized, and you want to call it a mistake? Because if they were so willing to obey orders without question, and you are still not willing to question the culture that allows such behavior to flourish, Jesus. The following section lays out a detailed summary of the events of August 26, 2007, which sets the foundation for a more complete discussion of the particular policies and procedures in place that time, which failed on that night, an analysis of changes that the JRC has made that time to improve the safety of JRC students. What crack are you on, Judge? What crack are you on? You go on and on and on about the safety of the students, which you don't seem to realize. This place being in existence at all puts these JRC kids at risk of danger. These adversives that you're so willing to applaud is what's putting these kids in danger. You've got some kids who are suffering for years from severe malnutrition, as well as sleep deprivation, plus getting shocks on top of it. And now you really want to talk about how the JRC is making things safe for their students? Really? Doing nothing to address the culture that is nurtured there amongst the staff, that they are willing to actually engage in shocking a student over 71 times as though this is normal behavior for them. And you don't want to question that? Background of students involved. Oh, Jesus Christ. Yes, we're going to victim blame next. Fabulous. All three of the victims and former student who called the JRC were emotionally disturbed individuals with a long history of aggressive and dangerous behaviors. Oh my God. You victim blaming son of a bitch. And let me guess, the JRC told you they were aggressive and dangerous, yes? And you just took their word for it? Didn't do any digging, didn't demand any surveillance tapes in order to reinforce this idea of yours? You just took their word for it, right? Jesus Christ. What kind of piece of shit do you have to be to blame the poor kid who was shocked over 71 times for this happening to them? The hell is wrong with you? Moving on. All four young men had been in numerous residential treatment programs before they became students at JRC. And I wonder what was done in those programs. Oh, but we don't talk about that now, do we? Some of them had been hospitalized in a psychiatric facility. Oh, because those are just the pillar of human rights. And some had faced criminal charges as results of attacks on staff at previous placements. But we're not going to talk about what the staff did to them, now are we? All of them had been the subject to abuse or neglect prior to attending JRC. Oh my God, and now you're questioning why? Oh my. John Doe. John Doe was 19 years old at the time of the incident and was a Massachusetts native. His father was his court-appointed guardian. His father has a lot to answer for. JRC clinicians diagnosed John Doe with mood disorder and sexual disorder. John Doe's behavior modification plan, dated March 21, 2006, and modified on September 12, 2006, identified specific negative and positive behaviors. God, did you really enact ABA on someone who didn't even necessarily have the disorder that you usually inflict that shit on? Really? Aspects of John Doe's plan at JRC at the time of the incident included behavior contracts, movement limitations, use of helmet, contingent food program, and the GED-4 device. Oh, Jesus Christ. And y'all wondered why he was violent? Really? JRC was required to notify the court monitor if John Doe received more than 50 GED-4 applications in a 24-hour period. So this was normal, folks. This was normal for this particular student. Staff were required to notify John Doe's clinician after 10 GED-4 applications within a 24-hour period. Examples of behavior for which JRC could use the and treatment included inappropriate sexual talk. If you remember straight, any kind of showing any kind of attraction to anyone was a punishable offense. Verbal threats to run away. Gee, I wonder why. Rude gestures. Oh, they would have definitely shocked the hell out of me. I flip the bird all the time. Look at me, JRC. Try and do something about it. Oh, that's right. I don't live in your state. You can't, you evil bastards. Failure to follow student rules and talking out. Oh, yes, we can't have them talking out about what goes on behind closed doors. Now, can we judge? The behavior modification plan stated that the Human Rights Committee would review the plan prior to use of any level 2 or 3 procedures, GED for mechanical restraints. Human Rights Committee. JRC's goal is to exhaust positive reinforcement methods before relying on adversive procedures. You mean like the food contingent program? The stick and the carrot routine? Yeah, it's stellar. The amended plan, dated September 12, 2006, included data on the rate of John Doe's behaviors and stated goals for behavior reduction based on the data. The decree of permanent guardianship named John Doe's father as John Doe's guardian and approved the treatment plan described above on September 19, 2006, with such plan expiring 18 months and reviewable after 12 months. We gotta abuse those behaviors out of them, right, Judge? The plan was reviewed and approved by a court again on October 30th, 2007. John Doe's daily log from August 25th, 2007 shows that John Doe had a good evening on the night before the incident with no behaviors noted. You mean he sat there quiet and just let you all do what you wanted to him? That's what you mean, right? There is no indication that John Doe exhibited behaviors during the 9 p.m. hour, as alleged by the caller. The sheet indicates that all signed the log. Of note in the subsequent pages of the log include following instructions. John Doe recently made use of the phone without permission and must be closely monitored around the phone, and John Doe's clinician is to be notified if there are more than 2 hours of latency delay. Because, Judge, that shouldn't make you question something. Why is it these kids are denied phone at certain hours or denied the right to talk to certain people? I would like to know. John Doe's daily log from August 26, 2007 shows that Blink wrote, John Doe had a good evening for the evening of the 25th. Evening notes from John Doe's August 26, 2007 recording sheet show that John Doe went on a field trip and was venting a little on what happened. Yeah. And I bet you shocked him for that too, didn't you? The report also states that John Doe was faded from the GED. The August 26, 2007 restraint and GED sheets do not indicate that John Doe was restrained or received any GED applications. Yeah, I'm going to trust the JRC on that one. Sure, Jan. John Doe's program description, which is undated, indicates that John Doe is approved for use of 4-point board for up to 1 hour without the approval of his clinician. You sick bastards! And his dad approved this? See, these are the kinds of parents we should be dragging into jail. Program description makes no reference to GED, so it's presumably developed after the incident. The program description does provide for use of the 4-point board as an aversive treatment for inappropriate behavior. Again, I will say, in whose eyes, Judge? Yours? Oh, I just bet. Anything that makes you feel uncomfortable. If this is such great freaking behavior modification, why aren't we using it on pedophiles? That's what I thought. John Doe's amended behavior modification treatment plan, originally approved by the probate court on blank 2006, was approved by the probate court again on blank 2007. Yes, because the court approving it makes it right. God, gotta protect the system that is protecting a school that engages in horrific violations of human rights on a freaking daily basis. This plan states that John Doe is approved for use of a 4-point board as well as GED. However, according to John Doe's program description, use of the GED for John Doe was suspended. So you say. John Doe's medical records consisted of a medical report by Dr. Schorderker, body check notes, nursing emails, and nursing notes. Dr. Schorderker's record, dated August 27, 2007, indicates that John Doe had multiple red marks on his lower abdomen from the GED. John Doe's daily log GED states that the electrodes are to be positioned on John's right and left legs. The body check notes do not cover the week following the incident, but suggest that John Doe received a body check once a week on Tuesday at school. The nursing email, dated October 3, 2007, reports that John Doe was restrained on a 4-point board and complained that he was having trouble breathing. Nursings do not cover the time period of the incident. Why am I not surprised? So much to unpack there. This is the biggest, not just torture, but complete invasion and destruction of privacy. Can you imagine a court approving that some stranger check your body once a week? Jesus. Oh, here we go. James Rowe. Let's see what more victim blaming they've got. James Rowe was 16 years old at the time of the incident and was a ward of the Virginia Department of Social Services. Remember when I told you about this, folks? This is the conservator and conservatory, where the conservatory does not get any choice in the matter. They are stuck there, and their conservator will keep them there. And if anybody thinks that those conservators are not getting kickbacks, spare me. James Rowe has been diagnosed with bipolar disorder, conduct disorder, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, and borderline intellectual functioning. Oh, Jesus Christ. Really? Really? I will say it again. Why are you using ABA, which is supposedly designed to help autistics? It doesn't. It really doesn't. It is also torture and abuse. But why are you using it on a completely different disorders? James Rowe Behavior Modification Plan identified specific negative and positive behaviors. Aspects of James Rowe's plan at JRC, dated August 2, 2007, included behavioral contracts, movement limitations, use of a helmet, contingent food program, and GED-4 device. So we're going to put him on the worst of the worst. We're going to starve him to death, shock him to death. We're going to do whatever the hell we want to him. God. JRC was required to notify the court monitor if James Rowe received more than 50 GED-4 applications in a 24-hour period. Examples of behavior that the JRC could use the GED treatment include verbal threats of aggression. Yeah, I would also do that to anyone who put me on that damn device. Getting out of his seat without permission. Really? You gonna do that to a normal kid for getting out of their seat without permission? Of course not. My brother made his teachers' lives a living hell. But because he was neurotypical, I bet you money they never even thought of doing something like this to him. But because this James Rowe was disabled, well, then that's all right then. Right? God. Moving on. Threats to destroy property, swearing, yelling, attempting to remove the GED device, Oh, I wonder why anybody would want to remove their torture device. Gee, let me think. Stopping work for more than 5 seconds or arguing with staff. And Judge, you think that is normal? Really? For someone to stop work for more than 5 seconds and you think it's okay to shock them? How much did they pay you for this? The plan stated that the Human Rights Committee would review the plan prior to use of any Level 2 or 3 procedures, GED. The court order in James Rowe guardianship case dated July 11, 2006 was set to expire in 18 months from the date of the order, review of 12 months. Oh, we gotta cover our legal asses now, don't we? James Rowe's August 2007 amended treatment plan also calls for the use of the 4-point board in GED device. Just like Andre, you poor bastard. My heart goes out to you. However, no order from the probate court approving this amended plan was provided by the JRC. Of course not. James Rowe's daily log from August 25th, 2007 shows that James Rowe had a good evening on the night before the incident, with only one behavior described as talk out at 8 p.m. But we can't have them talking about what's going on here, right? There's no indication that James Rowe exhibited behaviors during the 9 p.m. hour as alleged by the caller. The sheet indicates that staff and another staff person all signed the log. Of note, in subsequent pages of the log include the following instructions. Contact James Rowe clinician Dr. Vlock in any emergency requiring restraint. 2. James Rowe's latency period for GED application is 24 hours. James Rowe's case manager is to be notified after GED. James Rowe's daily log from August 26th shows that the staff person wrote James Rowe had a good evening, referencing the evening of the 25th. The evening staff notes for August 26, 2007 report seemed very quiet. Was falling asleep through the movie. The first page of the report also shows that James Rowe was faded from his GED device. Another note states off left leg, suggesting that James Rowe's electrode on his left leg was removed first or may have been the only electrode removed that day. The August 26, 2000 restraint from James Rowe does not indicate whether James Rowe was restrained on that date or not. At 6 p.m., there was a 15-minute restraint check. The form indicates that James Rowe was in a 2-point chair that evening at 8:33 p.m. However, this note appears crossed out. Oh, really? We can't incriminate our employers, can we, Judge? Judge Rowe was put in a shower cup at 8:33 p.m. because that's okay. The nursing notes for James Rowe are unremarkable, but for the notes about the 26th and 27th of 2007. An email from Derek Terrell, a JRC nurse, states that a student named blank informed the nursing staff of the incident involving James Rowe the night before. The student reported that James Rowe received 60 GED applications to only his left leg device. Jesus! James Rowe was brought to the nursing station shortly after and had a stage 2 ulcer on his left calf. Nurse Terrell decided to also remove the GED device from James Rowe's left leg. Alright, we will get to the other victims of that particular evening going on tomorrow. Now, my takeaway from this is now we're victim blaming. We're going into these victims' past. Why are we doing that? We're doing that to cover the asses of the staff that actually carried out the shocking of the students due to that prank call. Because we got to make it seem like the victims were known for violent behavior, so that's why the staff didn't question their orders. It is disgusting beyond anything I can begin to describe to you. The way that they justify this staff and the people at the JRC and what they are doing by painting their victims as either completely mentally deranged and out of control or so autistic we can't even function. It is garbage. It's disgusting. And quite frankly, wherever this judge is now, I hope he's ashamed of himself, because I do think he may actually beat Judge Nichols in infamy. Or at least he very much should. And on those final notes, I will go ahead and close out for this morning. Now, we don't get very many views on this channel, especially on this subject. The few that we do get do tend to get removed from time to time. So, folks, please don't forget to hit that like button, hit subscribe. Don't forget to hit the comments. Feed that algorithm. I do appreciate your time this morning. And as always, we here at Spilling Tea hope you have a good one. Bye-bye.